At our team lunch, my manager stood up with a toast and said, "Let's hear it for the girl who thinks effort alone can make up for lack of talent, bless her heart." I smiled as everyone chuckled uncomfortably. What he didn't know was that I had already accepted a role at our competitor, and had scheduled all my exit emails to hit just minutes before his quarterly performance review. So this happened a few months ago, and I still think about it sometimes when I'm lying in bed trying to fall asleep. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to plan revenge, but sometimes people push you too far. Sometimes they need to be taught a lesson. Let me give some background. I worked as a data analyst for a mid-sized logistics company based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. We handled supply chain support for a few big-name companies. It wasn't flashy work, but I was proud of what I did. I was part of a team of 12, all of us reporting to the same guy, Drew. Drew was the kind of manager who thought he was smarter than everyone else. He liked to talk over people. He'd take credit for ideas that weren't his. He'd make jokes at people's expense and then say, "Relax, it's just humor," whenever someone looked uncomfortable. And for some reason, higher-ups loved him. He'd been with the company for over 10 years, so he acted like he was untouchable. I joined the company 3 years ago. I didn't go to an Ivy League school. I didn't intern at Google. I worked my way through a state college while bartending full-time. So yeah, maybe I didn't have the flashiest resume, but I was good. I worked harder than anyone. I stayed late. I picked up slack when others didn't. And I got results. But Drew never saw it. Or didn't want to. He gave me backhanded compliments all the time. "You're scrappy," he'd say. Or, "You've got hustle, even if your instincts aren't there yet." Stuff like that. Like he was always reminding me I wasn't quite good enough. It got worse when a new guy, Jason, joined our team. Jason was smooth, confident, and didn't know half of what he claimed to. But Drew loved him. Gave him high-profile projects, let him lead calls, praised him openly. Meanwhile, I kept getting the grunt work. I didn't complain. I figured if I kept delivering solid results, eventually I'd get noticed. I was wrong. The turning point came during our quarterly team lunch. It was always a big deal, even though it was technically just a long lunch paid for by the company. We were at a cozy Italian spot near the office. Long table, pitchers of water and bread baskets already out. Everyone was there, 11 of us plus Drew. Halfway through the meal, Drew stands up with his wine glass and says, "Let's toast to another great quarter." People start to quiet down. I'm expecting the usual, something generic and safe. But then he turns and looks straight at me. He lifts his glass and goes, "Let's hear it for the girl who thinks effort alone can make up for lack of talent, bless her heart." I froze. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. The table went quiet. You could feel how uncomfortable everyone was. A couple people gave that nervous laugh people do when they're not sure what else to do. One of the newer team members actually gasped. I smiled. I even laughed a little. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't want them to see how much it hurt. But inside? I was shaking. He humiliated me in front of the entire team. Called me talentless with a smile on his face. Like it was funny. Like I should be grateful to be the butt of his joke. What he didn't know, what no one knew, was that I'd already been interviewing for weeks. Quietly. Carefully. I'd gotten an offer from our top competitor just days before. More money. Better role. A team that actually respected the work I did. And I'd accepted it. That lunch happened on a Wednesday. My start date at the new job was 2 Mondays away. I'd already been planning my exit carefully, but after that lunch, I took it to a whole other level. I spent the next few days documenting everything. Every sketchy thing Drew had said. Every sexist joke. Every time he bypassed policies to give Jason special treatment. I gathered screenshots, saved emails, and even had a couple Slack messages where he admitted to fudging numbers to make quarterly goals look better. Then I drafted 3 emails, my resignation, thanking the team, but not Drew, and making it clear I was leaving for a better opportunity elsewhere. A farewell message to the team with personal notes for each coworker who had actually supported me. A detailed report to HR, with everything I had documented, clearly laid out, with dates and attachments. I scheduled all 3 to send 15 minutes before Drew's quarterly performance review with our department VP. I knew the exact time because Drew had bragged about it during a meeting, said he was gonna crush it and might even ask for more budget. The morning it all went down, I got to work early. I wasn't taking any chances. I double-checked the scheduled emails. All set to hit send at exactly 10:15 a.m., the same time Drew would be sitting in the glass-walled conference room on the 5th floor with Sandra, the VP of Operations. At 9:30, Drew was strutting around like usual, coffee in hand, telling anyone who'd listen how he was going to lock down another win with the execs. I kept my head down. Didn't say much. Just kept checking the clock. At 10:13, he grabbed his laptop and said, "Wish me luck." Then he winked at Jason like they were frat brothers headed to some dumb party. I watched him walk into the conference room. I waited 2 minutes. Then the emails went out. 10 minutes later, I heard the door to the conference room open. Hard. Not like someone just finishing a meeting. Like someone storming out. I looked up just in time to see Drew walking fast, real fast, down the hall, jaw clenched, red in the face. He didn't look at anyone. Just barreled past us and disappeared into his office. Sandra came out 2 minutes later. Calm. She looked serious, but not angry. Just focused. She walked right over to our HR director, Nicole, and whispered something. Nicole stood up immediately. That's when things started unraveling. An hour later, Nicole called me into her office. My heart was pounding, but I played it cool. She shut the door and said, "I read your report." I nodded. She said, "First of all, thank you. It takes guts to speak up, especially like this." She didn't say much more. Just told me they were starting an investigation and that I didn't have to worry about anything while I worked out my last 2 weeks. I told her I appreciated it, but actually, I was using my PTO. I had enough to cover the full notice period. I wouldn't be coming back. She nodded. Understood. I walked out of that building for the last time without looking back. But the fallout? Oh, it was just getting started. By that Friday, Drew's door was shut all day. No meetings. No updates. People started whispering. I got a text from a friend on another team, "Something's going on with Drew. You know anything?" I didn't respond. The next Monday, word spread, Drew was on leave. No explanation. Jason suddenly stopped coming to the office too. HR sent out one of those vague company-wide emails about restructuring and accountability. You know the kind. Corporate speak for we found out some real SHT and heads are rolling *, but it wasn't over. Not even close. 2 weeks later, I was 2 days into my new job when I got a message on LinkedIn. It was from Jason. "Hey. You free to talk?" I stared at it for a second, confused. Then he sent a second message, "Look, I think I'm in serious trouble. And I think it's because of you." I didn't reply. But that message, that told me just how deep the cracks had gone. And I wasn't done yet. A few days passed, and I kept thinking about Jason's message. I didn't answer, but it stuck in my head. I figured whatever mess he was in, he probably deserved it. Still, I was curious. So I did a little digging. I reached out to Natalie, one of the admins who'd always been kind to me. We'd shared a few lunches, and she had a reputation for hearing everything before anyone else. I messaged her, just casual, "Me, hey Nat, hope you're doing okay." Heard Drew's leave might not be temporary? Natalie, girl. You did not hear it from me, but it's AF *** King Firestorm over here. She told me HR had opened a full investigation after my report, but it wasn't just about Drew's comments anymore. Apparently, once they started pulling records, things got bad. Expense reports didn't add up. Project timelines were faked. Jason had submitted entire decks that were lifted straight from past competitors' pitches. Plagiarized. Word for word. And guess who signed off on them? Drew. Worse, there were complaints. Old ones. From women in the department. HR had buried them years ago. But now, with mine hitting so hard and so publicly, the whole file got reopened. Drew was screwed. But so was Jason. And that part made me pause. Because here's the twist I didn't expect: Jason wasn't just a golden boy. He was Drew's nephew. Yeah. Nobody knew at first. Different last names, no mention of it during hiring. But when HR started really looking, it came out. Nepotism, false reporting, shady reimbursements, it was a full dumpster fire. I thought the drama was behind me. I thought I'd be able to move on and enjoy my new role. But I was wrong. A week later, I got a knock on my door. At home. A guy in a cheap blazer with a badge around his neck. "Are you, my name?" I said yes. "I'm with Internal Audit. The company's legal team asked me to follow up on a few pieces from your report." I let him in. He didn't stay long, just had a few clarifying questions about dates and emails. I gave him everything. It was all true. I had nothing to hide. But that visit opened a door I hadn't expected. 2 nights later, I got another message. From Drew's wife. "I know we've never met. But I'd like to talk to you. Please. It's important." That's when I knew this wasn't just a workplace mess anymore. It was personal. I stared at that message from Drew's wife for a long time. I didn't know what to say. What could I say? I didn't know her, and this whole thing had nothing to do with their marriage, or so I thought. But curiosity got the better of me. I messaged her back. "I'm not sure why you want to talk to me, but I'll hear you out." She replied instantly. He told me everything. Or at least he tried. I need to know the truth. Can we talk? We met at a small cafe off Capitol Boulevard, outside of Raleigh. She was in her late 40s, well put together, but you could tell she hadn't slept much. Her eyes were swollen, and her hands shook when she picked up her coffee. She didn't waste time. "I knew something was wrong," she said. But I didn't know how bad. When the HR stuff started, he told me it was just a misunderstanding. That someone was out to get him. I didn't say anything. Then she dropped the real bomb. "He told me it was you. That you had a thing for him. That he turned you down, and now you were trying to ruin his career." My jaw clenched. I felt rage bubble up in my throat. I had been humiliated, overworked, underestimated. And now he was calling me a stalker? I took a breath. "He's lying," I said calmly. "He targeted me because I wouldn't suck up to him. I did my job, and he couldn't stand that I was better than he gave me credit for." She nodded slowly. "I know now." I looked through his messages. Emails. There was more than one woman. She looked down at her cup. "I filed for divorce yesterday." I didn't feel sorry for Drew. But I did feel something in that moment. Maybe sadness, for the damage he left behind. For all the people he pulled into his mess. His wife. His nephew. His team. But he did it to himself. In the weeks that followed, things got worse for him. HR finished the investigation. He was fired, no severance. Word spread fast in our industry. His reputation was toast. Jason? Same deal. Once the nepotism and plagiarism came out, he was blacklisted too. I later heard from a recruiter that both of their names were known liabilities in the logistics world now. But here's the part one didn't expect. About 3 months into my new job, I got a meeting request from our VP. He'd heard from someone at my old company. Said he wanted to talk. At first I panicked. Thought maybe I was in trouble. But when I sat down, he smiled. I wanted to say thank you, he said. The work you've done here has been solid. Reliable. We heard about what you exposed at your last job. That took guts. And integrity. He offered me a promotion that day. I took it. So yeah, I got my revenge. But more importantly, I got out. And I got to rebuild on my own terms. As for Drew? Last I heard, he was working freelance, barely scraping by. Still trying to tell people he was the victim. Still blaming everyone but himself. Let him. Because the truth? It's out there. His lies are out. His power is gone. And me? I'm just getting started.